Hey, Nick, what's the ceiling for this Bucs offense this season? 1.5. 1.25.
The ceiling is the best offense in the NFC. If Brady's excellent, they've got the weapons for it. Now, you noticed, Wilds, that we heard from Mike Evans there. We saw Brady throwing to Gronk. It does look like Brady and Chris Godwin's feud continues, and they're going to at some point have to work out the hurt feelings from Brady stealing the number from that young man and not giving him any money or a car or anything like that. But assuming they get that ironed out, if Brady's good, this offense has all the pieces to be the best offense in the NFC. People think I'm joking. The question for the Bucs is, are they a quarterback away from being a great offense? If the answer is no, they have the quarterback, then why wouldn't they be a top 5 offense in football and be right alongside the Cowboys for the best offense in the conference? So to me, Brian, that's the ceiling. The ceiling is everything works out well and they're the best offense in the NFC.
Well, first of all, I love hearing receivers give quarterbacks compliments, and of course, Tom Brady certainly deserves it. But when you receive, you got to throw some compliments at your quarterback so that you know that you're going to get the ball in return. That's just how football works. But I absolutely agree with you. When you talk about the best offensive teams in the league, you have to put Tom Brady in there. So the ceiling really is top 3 offensive teams in football. You have all the great components. You have a good running back in Ronald Jones, who has shown you that in open field he can be dynamic. He can make some plays. He has to continue to get better. He's the weak point of the offense. But then you look at Chris Godwin, you look at Mike Evans, and then the set of tight ends that you have in Bray, O.J. Howard, and Rob Gronkowski. You have all the weapons that you need to have a dynamic offense. Now you have to find out if Tom Brady still has it. Here's the one thing that I think will slow down this team from being as dynamic as they have been in the past. The stability that Tom Brady brings. Because Jameis Winston was there in his 30 interceptions, now you have to call different plays. You have to be more aggressive. For Tom Brady, you don't have to be as aggressive, and because over the last 6 years, he's only had one season with double-digit interceptions. So I don't think that Bruce Arians, as a play caller, will be as aggressive down the field as he was in past years.
Just one note to correct Brian on the compliments, getting you what you want. Multiple times I have said, Brian, those are great Westbrook farm shirt. Brian has a great horse farm, and I've complimented him on the shirt. I've said it multiple times. I haven't come out and just straight up said, like, hey, can I get a shirt? That's like on Mike Evans, like, hey, will you throw me the ball on 3rd down? But you just give a lot of like, hey, those are great shirts,
That's how you do it.
Hey, look, I'm trying, but it's come up empty, and now the graphics rolling on me.
Graphics rolling because we got to move on to Brady's replacement, where it's a 3-man race with Cam Newton, Brian Hoyer, and Jarrett Stidham splitting reps at Patriots camp. Hey, somehow, someway, this is anyone's job to win. Stidham did throw 3 interceptions at practice yesterday. And it won't go on his official stat sheet, but it doesn't help his cause at all. Nick, could there actually be a quarterback battle, or is this Cam's job to lose?
No, it's always been Cam's job. The moment he signed there, it became his job. What's most notable to me is that splitting reps is Brian Hoyer. And that, to me, is not about the battle for the starting quarterback position. That is about the battle for the backup quarterback position. To me, the fact that Hoyer is included in this is evidence that the Patriots know, listen, given Cam's injury history, we might have to go to a backup. And is Jarrett Stidham even ready to be our backup, much less our starter, Wild? So to me, that's the news here. Cam's going to be the starter. I'm not certain if Stidham or Hoyer will be the number 2, Kevin.
Look, I feel a little bit guilty because I saw that tweet and I was rooting against the Javelin, so I got very nervous, and I don't want to do that. Brian, I actually have a question for you about sort of like the media in camp. Do you feel like the really granular reporting, like, hey, this quarterback threw 3 interceptions in camp, affects some of the risks or some of the decision-making that you have going on in practice now that you feel like it's under a microscope?
No, I think at this point and in practice is a time for you to get better. So you're going to take more risks as a quarterback and probably make some throws that you may not make in the game. And when you're playing against some of the better defenders in the game that you have up there in New England, it's going to be tough to pass against them. And that's what Jarrett Stidham is faced with. He's faced with playing against some of those things. And so to me, you take all the risk in practice so you can find out what you can do and what you can't do. And then in the game, you kind of play a little bit safe unless the situation calls for you to take more risk.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.